Here we go. Today's instructor is one of my all-time favorite people, and I'm not just saying that because he can hear me. He really is. I've loved working with this person more than I've enjoyed working with anybody. He's one of my all-time favorite people, and just like me and just like you, he is what we call a hobbyist. He plays music for the fun of playing music. So kind of the opposite of a professional, but he's going to teach you some really cool things. So I'm going to switch over to him, and his name is Mr. Bart Jensen.
Well, hello, everybody. Sean, how much do I owe you for the introduction?
Well, you got to talk into the mic so they can hear you.
How much do I owe you for the introduction?
That'll be $5.50, please.
Okay.
You can pay me on, give me a credit card afterward.
You do take credit cards.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, hello, everybody. I want to remind you that there is a handout for today. And, Sean, could you tell us again how they get the handout?
Yeah, there are a couple ways. You probably don't need it too much during the class. I'll be putting it up from time to time. But I will put it in this chat feature. If you're on a computer, you should be able to open that up. If you're on a phone or tablet, we will send out an email probably in a couple days. Or actually, I think Robert said he sent it out today as well. So you can check your email for this class, and it should be in there. But I will put it in the chat feature in just a moment as well, so you can all download that anytime. But what's our class called today?
Our class is called Anyone Can Play by Ear. How do I know? Because I'm an anyone. My point is, if I can do it, you can do it. Now let's talk a little bit about ear players. Ear players are usually broken down into two categories. The first category is the one that we think that is pretty much unachievable for us. I know I feel it's unachievable for me. It's the person who can play anything, anytime, anywhere, any style of music. And maybe you've known folks like that. Maybe you've gone out to eat somewhere and someone's playing the piano and you ask him to play a request and instantly he knows that he can play it. That's basically a God-given talent. But the kind of ear playing that I'm going to teach today is something that you can learn. How do I know? Because I learned and I ain't that smart. So you can do it. Now I'm going to start off by playing a song that I learned by ear. And it's a song that was made famous by the Beatles. Paul McCartney wrote it, and John Lennon, is that his name? John Lennon. Yeah, John Lennon told Paul McCartney, he says, "That's not a good song for the Beatles to do. That's a polka, and the Beatles don't do polka songs." Well, 2 years later, they let that song out, and it was a huge hit, and they left it as a polka song. It's called Obla Di Obla Da. Hey.
I like that ending.
Thank you. That's kind of a fun song, isn't it? You know how I know it's fun? Because it makes me laugh at the very end. Oh, no, that was M. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this second time by ear player. This is an ear player that can learn to play by simply learning one note at a time. That is, the first thing an ear player wants to do is to learn how to pick out the single note melody for the song. Okay? Melody is played with which hand? The right hand. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that right hand is the one that's going to pick out that melody. Now you're thinking, now wait a second. I can't pick out melodies on the keyboard. Well, let me show you that you can. What song is this? What song is that? Anybody?
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Did you hear the wrong note I played? Did you hear the wrong note I played?
We don't notice wrong notes.
Don't hear
here,
the wrong
Bart.
note. Well, that was the wrong note I played. And my point is, we have to learn how to take the wrong notes for what they are. And they're not wrong notes. They're passing tones. Now, a wrong note becomes a wrong note if you keep playing it, trying to find it, or you stop the progression of the song because you want to pick out the right note. Then it's a wrong note. But if you keep the song going, that wrong note becomes a passing tone. In fact, even more literally, it can become the beginning of an improvisational session. That's right. Wrong notes can be turned into improvisation if you keep the song going. Okay, so let's play that song again. Here I am playing Happy Birthday for the first time. It might have sounded like this. Now, I know you heard the wrong notes, right?
That
Yes,
probably
you heard the
sounds
wrong notes,
more
but you
familiar
heard the
than
right notes too, didn't you? And of course, what it is all about is playing the right notes. Now I'm going to play Happy Birthday again, only this time, instead of pausing on those wrong notes like you just heard me do, I'm going to keep the song going even when I hit a wrong note. You know, by the way, when I try to play the song wrong, it's really kind of hard because after a while, it becomes ingrained in your soul and you can play it in your sleep. And so I have to stop and think about how I want to play the song wrong. Hey, wrong notes, but we kept the song going. Okay, so let us remember that, because and it'll be in your handout, that wrong note is a passing tone. It doesn't matter. And by the way, when you're learning how to play a song by ear, a single note melody, you probably don't want an audience. And the reason that is because all your friends and family will say, "Ha, you hit a wrong note." Like you don't know that, right? Of course you know you hit the wrong note. You heard me when I played the wrong note for Happy Birthday. You know when you hit a wrong note. So if you're going to be playing in front of people, either make sure they're people who really love you in spite of your errors, or put on some headphones and work on it by yourself, right? So here's one of the things that I do when I start learning a brand new song. And by the way, when I learned a new song by ear, it usually is about a 45-minute session, okay? And I'm figuring it's going to take about that long. And if it's a more difficult song, it may take me an hour and a half, 2 hours. But here's how I feel about that. When you're learning how to do a solitary game like a jigsaw puzzle or playing the card game Solitaire, you make lots of mistakes, don't you? But you learn how to keep going in spite of the mistakes. So my point is that you want to be able to find the note, but not whip yourself with high expectations, yet try to keep the song going so that it becomes contiguous. It's a melody that people understand and can follow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's how I get started. I start by playing a C scale, and I'm thinking of a song I want to play. And when I hear a note that I think goes with that song, I'm going to try playing off of that note. Yeah? Okay. So do I know what key that's in? No, probably not. Well, first of all, what does that even mean? What key that's in? Well, all songs are written in a certain key. Now, some of you who already play, you know this, but some of you beginners may not know this. Every song is written in some sort of a key. And the key is typically, not always, but typically, like in the 90 percentile, the last note of the song that you play. And oftentimes that last chord is also the key that the song is in. Now, when I play the C scale, why do I choose the C scale? Because there's no black keys. And some of us think that black keys make playing hard. Well, that's not true. But we learn that way. When you use the Easy Play Today books, most of the songs, 90+% of the songs, are done in easy keys, where there's not very many black notes. Now, even when a song is written in the key of C, where you use no black notes at all for the scale, every once in a while you will play a song and you'll want to put a black note in there, or what we call an accidental, because it kind of blends into the song, okay? So even though a song is written all in white notes, you may occasionally throw in a black note just to make it a little more interesting. Okay, so we're learning to listen. We're learning to recognize the wrong notes, discard the. We're learning to recognize the right notes, discard the wrong notes, and we're learning to keep the song going. So let's play that C scale again and see if I can think of a song that I might want to use. Sometimes I get very unimaginative. This is the interesting thing about learning how to play by ear. When you learn to play by ear, there is this mentality of subconsciousness you have to reach. Now let me explain what I mean by that. When you focus on playing the right note and you hit a wrong note, you get frustrated. But if you instead just kind of play around, poke around, find the right note, you'll find that you learn to eventually emphasize that right note as a little reward, as opposed to a wrong note that just simply gets in the way, and we're going to keep going without it bothering us, okay? You know, so many of us, when we hit that wrong note when we play, we recoil. We hit the wrong note, we recoil. Well, when you do that, you're telling everybody, including yourself, your audience and yourself, look at me, I hit a wrong note. See, I stopped and I'm correct. Well, no, you don't want to do that. You want to keep this song going. All right? So, let me listen again to this and see if I can hear something that inspires me. I don't feel very inspired today. And by the way, that happens sometimes in music. Sometimes you feel really inspired and you can come up with anything. And sometimes it's like, how does Marianne go again? You know? Just different feelings sometimes. So let's see. Oh, here we go. I just had to think of Marianne, and there it was. Okay? So, play that C scale up and down the keyboard. Use it to kind of help you find the note that you want to use. And most of the time, you'll end up without any black keys. And you'll know by the last note that if it's a C, most likely you're in the key of C. Okay? Any questions?
Any questions so far?
Sue, do you have a question? Sue Kelly?
Doesn't look like it.
No. Okay. All right, we'll continue. By the way, you can raise your hand anytime, and if it's physically raising your hand, Sean can see you. Yes, Sean?
I can see some of them, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or you've got that raise hand feature that he explained on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you're trying to think of a song, sometimes as you're playing the notes, you may think of the song and you're not sure what note it is, but you can try singing it out loud. Now, some people are going to say, well, I can't sing. Well,
I see a lot of heads nodding at that.
did you know
one,
that
yeah.
singing has nothing to do with music, playing by ear? In fact, 50% of the professional musicians who play all kinds of instruments don't sing. Robert Fisher, who was a teacher of ours in the Sun City West store, great teacher, writes music, does all kinds of phenomenal things, can't sing a note. Ask him, he'll tell you. My point is, singing has got nothing to do with music. So if you try to sing along and you're singing sour notes, who cares? You know what you're trying to hear in your mind. Help that maybe as something in your mind. So let's see. Let's try this. Da 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 da. Anybody know that song?
What's that one?
Jesus Joy's Demands Desire. I think that's what
That's
it's
a
called.
tongue twister, something like that.
Jesus Joy Demands Desire. That's what it is.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not drunk.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't drink and play. So let's be thinking about simple songs. And on my handout, I've given you a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 simple songs that require only 2 chords. Please put that on the screen. Number 6. And these songs require you to learn to play with your left hand, or not require, but it makes it more interesting if you play left-hand chords. In fact, I should say all music is more interesting than just one note at a time when you add chords. But learning to play with chords takes a little bit of time and, again, patience. So if we go number 6 there, it says, try adding 2-chord song with the left hand. Well, that's what it did say, then it went away. Okay. If you use AOC, it'll be easier to hear the necessary chord changes. Okay. So AOC, as you know, is the automatic chord for the top keyboard. For the bottom keyboard, I'm going to use easy, the easy button. And let's listen to the first song, Jambalaya. Now, I didn't tell you what those 2 chords are. We're playing in the key of C. The 2 chords are going to be C and G. Now, actually, G always sounds better when you're playing in the key of C as G 7th. Listen to the difference between G and G 7th. Okay, there's a G. There's a G7. There's a G, there's a G7th. Okay? Now, you may say, well, how do I know when to hit the chord? And the answer to that is because when it sounds right. Okay? If I try to play a song without changing a chord, listen and you'll hear it sounds like, well, like I'm playing the wrong note. In that case, I might be playing the wrong chord. Let's try the next song, Achy, Breaky Heart. Can you hear that? The right chord.
Ooh, much
Doesn't
better.
it sound a lot better?
Mm-hmm.
When you find that right chord, it's kind of like finding that spot on your back that you got to scratch, and you scratch it, and finally it feels good. Well, it's the same thing, find the right chord. When you find that right chord, it just feels good. Hear that? Hear it when I hit the right chord? Yes. one person doing yes and one person doing no,
see
and
a
a
lot of-
person going.
A lot of heads moving
I don't
around.
know, a lot of heads
A
moving
lot
around.
of bobbleheads.
Bobbleheads. Oh, they're
That's
moving in the
good.
right direction then. Okay, good. All right, so that's learning to play with two chords. Let's do one more here. Deep in the Heart of Texas. Now, I'm going to try something here. I wasn't planning to do this, but it sounds so good. Let's, if I go to song setup, is it Deep in the Heart of Texas or is it in the Heart of Texas? Deep in the Heart of Texas. There's a style on all of our Lowry organs that sound perfect effects. Let me go to, let's see here, and E, and song setup, and there it is right there. Doesn't that sound great? By the way, I did something that I added to that song by changing the G7th chord to a D minor. Now, in the next class that we do on learning to play by ear, the more advanced class, we'll be talking about alternate chords. But I just want to give you one little taste right now, and that is anytime you're playing in the key of C, the last chord is a C, when you have a G chord that you might be holding for a long time, or G7th, alternate with the D minor, and you'll see just how good that sounds. Listen to it again as I do it without the rhythm. Okay, there's the G7th. Here's a D minor. G7th, D minor. So I'm still playing only two chords, but I've made a little bit of a change by adding the D minor to the G7th. Okay? Questions? If there's no questions, it means one of two things. Either I'm doing a spectacular job, or you wonder, what the heck is he talking about?
I'm always wondering what you're talking about, but this time I think I get it.
Okay, good. All right. So let's go on now, and let's try playing along with a pre-recorded song, okay?
Oh, this is a good way to do it, too.
Playing with a pre-recorded song is something that most of you probably have never done before. In fact, yesterday when I asked the class of twice this size if anybody had ever played with a pre-recorded song, and all of them said no. And I quickly found out the reason why. Let me play a song for you here. I'm going to use a recorded song. It happens to be one of the 50 songs that goes with the Black Lowry songbook. All of you should have gotten a flash drive or a floppy disk that has these songs recorded on it. If you don't have a copy of these songs, contact your store and tell them that you would like to get a copy. And they may charge you for a flash drive, or if you bring in your flash drive, it'll be free. And if you bring in a floppy disk, it'll be free. If you ask them to give you one of their discs, and those are becoming harder and harder to find, they may charge you $100. No, I'm just kidding. But that's what happens with technology when people stop using it. It gets more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's... phooey. Lost my train of thought. Where was I, Tom?
I don't know. I was thinking about expensive technology when you said that. I was thinking about all my Betamax tapes now. So
Yeah, my 8-track recorder.
now you're going to play with some recorded songs.
Recorded songs, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play a song here, and the name will appear on the screen, but I hope you can't see it, because I want you to be able to listen to the song and tell me what song it is. Now the melody is not playing. All you hear is a background with the chord changes. If you know what song this is, raise your hand. Do you see any hands raised, Sean?
I don't see any hands.
Huh? No hands are raised. And when you find out what song this is, you're going to be absolutely amazed. Here comes the melody. Janice Weber saying, I know what song that is. First song we learned. Wasn't that the first song we learned? Or one of the first songs?
Yeah, one of them.
Marianne.
Yeah. Marianne's right. That's right. So, with the melody added, you could tell what it was. Well, what we want you to do is be able to listen to the background playing and figure out where the melody is when they're not playing it. This is really a fun thing to do, by the way. And remember what it takes. It takes the any recorded song will work, but the recorded songs made for the Lowry are especially effective because you can turn off the upper, in the music recorder section, you can turn off the upper button, which turns off the melody, which causes you to listen to the tune without the melody playing. Now, this is kind of cool because you could also, when you start that song with the melody button off and you're sitting here playing it, and you're not sure what song it is, then you can add the melody. Say, oh yeah, there it is. Now turn the up off. Dun 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 dun. Let's see if I'm in the right place. Isn't that cool? That's fun. Now, by the way, for those of you who say, well, you know, I like karaoke. Well, there's your karaoke right there. Turn off that upper. You've got the melody off. You can do karaoke. Now, here's something else you can do. With these Lowry songs, all the words appear on the screen.
Really?
Okay? So I push the button that says lyrics in the music recorder section, and the words for the song appear on the screen. And not only do they appear on the screen, they highlight the word that you're supposed to be singing at the moment you're supposed to sing it.
Ooh, karaoke.
So let's go ahead and do this with the melody off. Let's pretend that I can't sing, but I definitely can read. And let's see how I might sound as I'm playing along with the melody off, watching the words on the screen. All day, all night, Marianne, down by the sea. Now, see, all the words are being highlighted. It tells me exactly where I'm supposed to be. Even little children love Marianne.
Where'd you get?
Down by the seaside, sifting sand. Okay, what are we doing? We're learning how to recognize melody when we're not hearing it played. Isn't that play by ear? Of course it is. Is it fun? Wait till you try this. It's a kick. Now remember, you get the copy of these songs from your whichever store happens to have your personal assistant. And if you're in South Dakota, then call that store and find out what you have to do to get all these Lowry songs. Now, sometimes people tell me, oh, I don't have these songs. And I say, well, did you get a flash drive with your organ? They go, yeah. I said, well, let's do a little test. So they take the flash drive, stick it in the organ or the floppy disk, stick it in the organ. In the music recorder section, hit the right arrow, which opens up many times the menu of those songs. And people go, I didn't know I had that. How did that get on there? I use that disc for saving my presets. Well, presets and songs are different things on your flash drive. You can't mess up songs by messing with your presets, and you can't mess up your presets by messing with your songs. They're independent of each other. Okay? So, you might want to do that before you call your store, because I would suggest that your store would know that, and they would say, hey, let's find out if you already have a copy of it. You might. Okay? All right, so let's continue here. Yeah, just a minute here. Okay, before we go on, I want to talk about an item that I wrote on here, and this is kind of an abstract subject, but if you can understand this, it's going to improve your playing. I said on number 9, make a subconscious rather than a conscious effort. Make a subconscious rather than a conscious effort. Try watching TV. Getting away from my microphone. Try watching TV at the same time. You know, there's time your spouse may say, you know, I want to watch this, and you really don't want to, but you like sitting in the same room with her. Well, then slap on your headphones and try playing a song by ear while you kind of listen to the TV in the background. My point is, this subconscious playing is what makes a person sound good. Now, let me illustrate that to you. How many of you have played a song at home and you play it really good, and then you come to the store to play it and you play in front of people and you mess up? Anybody had that experience? Yes, I've had that experience. Well, here's the reason that happens. Because when you're at home playing the song, you're not sitting there consciously thinking, oh, I got to be careful, I got to hit the right note. No, you're probably thinking about what's for dinner, what I need to get my grandchild for a birthday present. I mean, you're not focusing on the music, you're just playing. And you're basically playing by, for lack of a better term, subconscious. Okay? So that's a point where I'd like you to learn to reach and learning to play by ear. Do it without focus. It gets frustrating because you go, I'm trying to do this right and it's not working. Well, because you're too intense, you're trying too hard. Think about the grocery list. Think about how lucky you are to be married for all those years you've been married. Okay? Whatever it is. Think about that.
I like what you said before. Think about food. That works
Think about
for me.
food. Yeah.
That
Oh,
works
yeah.
for me,
Think about food. What's for dinner tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go back to that list again, Sean, where we were. And this is kind of fun. Try carrying a boring conversation with someone at the same time. So when you're trying to play a song by ear, try to carry that boring conversation. Now, I'll tell you, Sean and I have lots of experience in doing this, and here's why. When we play out in front of the store to get someone's attention, oftentimes someone will come up to us and say, hey, you know, you remind me of my cousin's brother's uncle's aunt. You know, and you're like, huh? But you don't do that. You just sit there and you grin and you smile. And then they go on to tell you about how that person has something to do with music. And, of course, you don't know the person that's talking to you. You don't know the person they're talking about. You're never going to meet these people. It's real easy to say, go away. I'm trying to do something here. But you don't. You're polite and you just keep talking. I mean, keep listening. And they tell you their whole story. So while they're doing that, at the same time, turn the volume down on that organ and start playing around one note at a time.
Yeah, keep playing.
And keep playing. But don't forget to pretend to be listening, because you get yourself in trouble. Again, it's that subconscious effort that makes the difference between being able to do this and not. Okay? All right, let's turn to the second here.
Oh, this is nice. I like this. Let me put it up on the screen here.
Put
There
up on
we
the
go.
screen. Okay. So
Bunch of songs.
These are songs that can be played with 3 chords. And they're all in the key of C. I actually created this list like 25 years ago, back before we had word processors and all that kind of stuff. And I had to read my chicken scratch. But these are real simple songs that you've probably heard of before. In fact, if you want to pick a song, tell me which song you pick, and let's see how I do playing by ear. If you want to pick a song, raise your hand.
Or just yell it out. Well,
Oh.
maybe not yell. Just say softly. Does anybody have a suggestion for him?
Any song you want to...
Say
On Top of Old Smoky, okay? Okay, I'm glad you picked that song, because there's some songs in here I don't remember. I haven't played it for so long. But I do remember that song. And On Top of Old Smoky, if I look at that, I see that it says C, C, E, G at the beginning of it. See that? On top of Old Smoky, C, C, E, G. What that is the first three notes of the song. So rather than doing my exercise of playing the C scale up and down the keyboard, I've actually told you what the first four notes of the song are.
And you figure it out from there.
Wait a minute, is that an E? Did I do it wrong?
Are you trying to read your own writing?
C, C,
C, C, E, G.
C, C, E, G.
C, C, E, G.
There it is. You hear that? I bet if I played that song, all of you'd go, I know that song is on top of... Whatever happened to that TV show? I can name that song in 3 notes. Remember that? Yeah, if you remember that, you know you're old. Because that's an old TV show, but it was fun. What was it called? Name that tune.
Name that tune.
Name that tune, yes. So here's the first 4 notes. And now I just have to pick it out from there. Okay, so let's try to add a chord to that.
Not the Latin version, though.
Doesn't sound very good. There you go. Put an F chord in there. C chord. C chord sounds better. Oh, that doesn't sound very good. F. No. G. Yeah, G sounds better. Now you can see why we only use 2 and 3 chord songs, right? So you don't have to spend all this time trying to figure out which of the dozens of different chords you could create. Just 3 chords. And if you want to get fancy, don't forget that G7th can become a D minor as an alternate to G7th. G, G7th, D minor, G7th. Okay, one more song.
Let me put that screen back up and somebody pick a song for this guy to play.
I do request, as long as you pick it as one of the 3 chord songs.
Solito Lindo.
Solito
Home Sweet
Lindo.
Home.
Too late. Solito Lindo got there first.
Solito
Okay.
what?
Solito Lindo. Okay? That is a fun Mexican song. Is it also called the Mexican Hat song? Maybe just Solito Lindo. Okay, so the first notes are C, C, A, B, B. Okay. Ooh, okay. Let's take that and let's add it to that Mexican rhythm. What's that Mexican rhythm called, Sean? Oh, I'll just go to Latin, I guess, and pick it out. Sean hasn't been playing much Mexican music lately.
No.
Let's see.
I stick to the Central American.
There it is.
Stuff.
Mariachi Paso Doble. is the name of the style. Okay, so here's our mariachi band. We're going to play that Solita Lindo. We are inside your favorite Mexican restaurant. I love it when you go to Mexican restaurants and they have those little 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 member bands playing as you eat your meal. And let's pretend we're listening to them, okay? Well, I was trying to play another song with it, but I couldn't remember how it goes. It's Hava Nagila. You know that song, Jewish song, Hava Nagila? It's fun because when you play Hava Nagila with a Mexican song, you can create a medley and call it Hava Tequila. Okay, it's not funny.
You got to laugh there.
Hava Tequila.
Cherish every laugh.
All right, so that's playing along with 3 songs. That's adding rhythm to it. And don't forget, there's another level coming up later called Anyone Can Play by Ear. How do I know I'm an anyone for intermediate people, where we start talking about adding more chords to songs. And that's fun too. So let's see. Sean, did you want to say something before I play my finale?
Yeah, well, let me see if Robert's available. I don't know if he's in on this or not, but either way,
I am here.
I'll switch here so you guys can
I'm always
see me.
here.
Oh, good.
I'm always here.
Always here listening.
Even when you don't know I'm here. I'm like that
The
dad
Fletcher
that
music
always know
god.
what their kid is doing doing, right? Yeah, so Bart's going to play a final song
Yes,
here.
Dad.
Yeah.
Is he? Is Bart going to play a final number?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay, are you preparing for that?
You bet.
I am.
Okay. Now that you've
IR.
already learned from your own class, so now you can use your own tips. I only have a couple things really, and that is, let me pull it up here. Some of you remember, whoops, computers. By the way, I was talking earlier about nothing is simple. You know, as I'm looking for this, we've been trying to upgrade our internet speed at the Superstition Mall since July. And if you saw the stream of emails back and forth and 50 million people copied, and can you tell when someone yells in an email? Well, let's just put it this way. When I yell in an email, you know it. It's like I'll type my stuff, and then the point I want to make across, I make the font size triple size with exclamation
Caps lock. Yeah.
caps locks, and it's basically saying, "Get this damn thing going." And the logistics involved is just a nightmare. So I'm going to hopefully get a step closer today. But anyway, here it is. So as you know, a couple weeks ago at our recreational music make celebration, we gave everybody the opportunity to win one of these grand prizes. They're just really nice prizes. Some nice little tote bags. They make a great Christmas gift if you win one. This beautiful this storage cabinet, by the way, was designed originally to match the cabinets of the Lowry organs. So just FYI. This wall clock here is absolutely just a gorgeous piece as well. And we have really nice 4 music tote bags. You've probably seen an email or two, and there are a couple ways that you can register. So depending on how you got your email, you either had to do an online survey or do a product survey with one of our staff members. And I have insisted, I keep telling my salespeople every day get the product surveys, because not only that, it's good feedback for us, but it also is how you register. So if you've not done a product survey yet and they've asked you and you said no, they're in trouble for not doing it. So do them a favor and help them out. And it's really good for them because it's good practice for them on some of the things that I want them to learn. So I have insisted that they do that product survey with you. If you happen to get one that was online, then do it, because if you don't get registered. And I've gotten so far, I think there are about, I want to say about 60 of those plus another 30. So there's only about 100 surveys. So if you don't do it, you won't get registered. If you do, you'll get registered. So we've got 1 week left or so, about 10 days left in the contest. So if you haven't done it yet, call your staff member and say, how do I get the survey? And I'll just send out another email reminder on that to everyone here shortly. So you'll be seeing that in the next few days. Stay tuned in on the emails for upcoming classes. All of the classes are also posted on the website. As I can tell by today, most of you joined from the website because I didn't send out the email on time. So thank you for doing that. But as we progress further in time, we're going to hope that most people join via the website, because it's going to be a lot easier for you to see the information on there. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bart Jensen with an exclamation point. Look at that. He's got an exclamation point on his name. And it's all yours, Bart.
All right. Thank you. Here's another song that I learned to play by ear. And remember, these songs that I learned to play by ear sometimes take half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour and a half. But instead of saying, boy, I've been on this for over an hour and I haven't learned the song yet, instead of saying that, I say, you know what? I can't believe how much I've done. Every time I hit a right note, every time I find a right chord, I go, ooh, that's cool. And that perspective really makes learning to play by ear enjoyable. Here it is.
Crowd goes wild. Woo.
Thank you. Give
him a hand.
Yep.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you, Bert.
What was that song called, Bart?
Kansas City.
Bart, what was that song called? Kansas City. Kansas
City.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
You're welcome.
Kansas City, you're welcome.
Thought it was happy.